Hello there, Qckslvrslash, and what I have for you today is probably one of our biggest comebacks. Well, maybe not the biggest, but the tightest. And that's measured by the fact that at one point in this game, we are a single point from being beaten. And I'm partially to blame for why we wound up in this position. Now, a lot of the times for my clan, I'm the caller, but depending on who has what ships available and who's available to play, sometimes it falls to me to play the destroyer, and I feel I'm a very competent destroyer player. Unfortunately, Islands of Ice can take a lot of that away from you. You, more often than not, wind up in the sea cap behind one of the two islands in that cap, basically clinging to yourself and hoping things can't shoot you. You're relying on your teammates to finish off the things around you, and it can get tense. It can be stressful for destroyer players, particularly in clan battles, because when you go down, you put your team at a huge disadvantage. Now you can see our general strategy here off the bat. We're sending a big chunk of our team down to sea. And the reason for that is we're planning to push through here. And like I've mentioned before, in ranked battles, in clan battles, the goal is to just find a spot where you outnumber the enemy team, or make it so you outnumber the enemy team by focusing a target down quick, or just controlling vision well enough that you get the free shots on the enemy, get a volley or two in, everyone goes dark again, and you just remove enemy ships one at a time that way. So I get my speed boost up as I turn into the cap because it lets me maneuver, and well, there's a Des Moines. It's time to run. I go to torpedo, but they're not yet ready, so do the best thing, just turn out. Unfortunately for this Des Moines, he is seen by a lot of ships and he gets dunked on pretty hard early on. Now the enemy team, they've got a destroyer in the cap. We're almost to where we want to be. We're wanting to get our Des Moines behind one of these islands tight enough that he can radar the whole cap, and the Zhao into a position to shoot behind that island. Meanwhile, we've left a Des Moines up north to try to get shots south, and he is getting them. Or I should say was against that Des Moines. He was continuing to work him down. With the Des Moines out of play, I'm told to go into the cap, and just one of those situations where right as I steadied up, the torpedoes got detected. Had I held my finger on the rudder a little longer, probably could have dodged them one way. Had I taken it off a little sooner, could have dodged it the other. Nevertheless, getting to where I'm told to go, and this is not comfortable. The gearing spots me. There's no real point in smoking here. It might help, but when you look at the enemy composition, they have two Des Moines, a good chance there's going to be another radar. Just got to get behind the island, and I do. Unfortunately, Montana in the north dropped shells on me, and that ends my game. And this puts our team in a really crappy spot, because now we're down on vision, we're down on points, we're down on a ship, we're down on a cap. We need to fight back. And generally the best way of doing that, in my experience, is just finding that place you're stronger, just pushing in, removing an enemy ship one at a time. Just work your way through the enemy fleet. And sometimes that aggression works well. Against an experienced team, it can go very poorly. If they're smart and just continuously fall back, things aren't going to go well for you. And you can see I kind of just initially am watching the replay. I'm trying to use my camera, still in comms with all my teammates, to just help call the battle. I'm dead. I can focus on what's going on across the whole map. Our caller, because of the size of Islands of Ice, can't see what's going on with these ships in the north. So I go up, take a look what's going on, see where our Des Moines is, where our Zhao is, and really they're just trying to absorb a push here. All they really can do is try to preserve A as long as possible, do big damage when ships give them broadsides. That's one of the big advantages to the Zhao, is its detection allows it to sit, spot you, and just wait for you to turn, and the second you do, it hurts you. Now, to absorb this push, Karl here needs to get turned around. He's doing just that. He needs to get facing north. Best option really for him, just open distance from the Montana, get behind this island, and then he can put shots into the Des Moines, the Zhao basically waiting for the broadside should the Des Moines push forward. Now the Hindi pushed a little bit further north, clearly trying to be in a position to contend with that Zhao. Down at the south though, it's aggression time. You can see our Des Moines out from behind the islands starting to push forward. And right here what they decide to do is, we're getting these ships up north. They're starting to overcommit. It's time to work them down. So Commander in our Des Moines in the south is trying to get to this island right here, protect them from the southern ships, and pretty much everyone is focusing on this Montana. He's in the middle of the map. It's going to be very hard for him to go dark, and while he does have a deep hit point pool, some skilled shots from Pitbull should balance that out, and just DPM, DPM, DPM. Not a ton there from Pitbull, but the Montana is well angled, and you can see he has transitioned to reverse. He's trying to back up, takes a shot at Commander, and he's put a fire out, which means it's time to burn. Commander gets a fire. Looks like he has fire prevention, the single fire lighting up both the central ship locations, or maybe Commander got 2 fires there. Meanwhile, in the north, Karl and our Zhao, they're waiting. They're waiting for this Des Moines to get aggressive. And really the smart play for the enemy team here is do nothing. They have 2 caps, just sit back and wait. Unfortunately, that is not what they choose to do. The Des Moines pushing forward into gunfire. Meanwhile, the Montana still getting worked down. And he's probably just losing it in chat, very uncomfortable with the number of ships shooting him. And his hit points are disappearing. Now, our Zhao in the south, he's currently not able to shoot the Montana, but he's getting into position to get into sea pretty much as soon as the big ship goes down. And really the other big secret here is no one is not firing. Everyone is just keeping their guns going at all times, keep the health on the board. Now Karl here, he's in dire straits. He's getting worked down, he's spotted, he's managed to back up far enough now that he's broken detection, but you're definitely never comfortable when you're backing into the open. Now he is dark, and that's what's going to protect him here. There's nothing far enough forward to spot him, but it's never pleasant to sit kind of that open, that central location on the map. Now their Montana ends up firing, gives himself away. Meanwhile, Commander makes the push to get to the next island. His goal, besides deal with these ships in the south, really just take control and try and spot that DM. Unfortunately, with the Henry where he is, Commander is not long for the world. Gets finished off, but he gets a volley off. Can he finish that enemy gearing? Getting rid of the DD is going to go a long way in preserving this game, and we really don't have a lot of time. You can see Lovesock there shooting, but not managing to hit the gearing becoming spotted after he'd already fired, and he's just got to sail into cap. He doesn't have a lot of options. We have to stem the tide of points. Another hopeful volley, but it misses the gearing, and this is where it's just, Karl, sail forward. You've got to kill something. And even if Karl goes down here, this actually helps us more, because losing an allied ship, particularly a cruiser, costs you 60 points. Killing an enemy one only gains you 40. So if we can kill their Des Moines in exchange for Karl, we've bought ourselves 20 points. And that's exactly what is going to happen. Karl getting finished off by the Montana, but we bought ourselves 13 more points. Lovesock kept sailing forward. Everyone was working down the Henry. He gets finished off. That's bought us more points, and that's all we're trying to do. One ship at a time, finish the enemies off. And the next target called is this Des Moines. He's out in the open. He's bearing down on Lovesock, who is really stuck behind this island in an unpleasant position. And you get him, there's some more points. And the other big thing with Lovesock in that cap, well, the gearing pulls out for just a moment, getting spotted. Lovesock finishes him. He was waiting just in case the gearing came for torpedoes there. Gets him. Great. There's more points. We're about to have 2 caps. We're back in this. And this is where you can really feel momentum start to swing. And it's amazing how you go from feeling completely behind to suddenly really in a game, and how good that can feel. And you can see in chat at one point the enemy team had already said, like, good game, we've got this on lock, and then all of a sudden it started swinging. And having been on the losing side of some pretty drastic momentum swings, it knocks you on your ass. Like, it takes the wind right out of your sails. You're not sure what's happening, why the game's crumbling. A good caller will do everything they can do to maintain control, but it is not pleasant. You can see the Montana there was going for the ram, just trying to keep things even, because he was going to go down. If he can take a Yami with him, he's going to. Unfortunately, does not have success in that, and that means this Hindi's all alone. Pitbull's going to be able to come in from the south. Parasitic Triton or Zhao is going to be able to come in from the north. It's a matter of time for this Hindi. Now, we do have to be expedient. We don't have a whole ton of time. Pitbull dropping some good damage. The Zhao absolutely doing more with its AP. That Zhao AP to side on targets, you can just drop citadels into pretty much anything. You can see just melting the Hindi. He's pretty much done. Gets lit on fire for a moment there by secondaries. And, well, he goes dark, but Parasitic Trite gets the volley off, and there he goes. And now we're really in this game. We're just behind on points, but we've got 2 of the caps, which means we should be able to slowly walk up on this. Now, Lovesock's in a tough position. He's stuck behind an island, got Navy SEAL sailing south to help. Pitbull, unfortunately, stuck sailing north from having to deal with that Hindi. It's going to take some time for him to get back in the fight. Same with Parasitic Trite. Really just going to take time. So it's kind of down to some long-range gunnery by Pitbull and just Navy SEAL and Lovesock doing their best they can here. And this is a crap situation if you're in a Zhao. Zhao versus Hindi, close quarters. The Hindi's torpedoes win every time. The Hindi has amazing arcs. The Zhao's, in my opinion, some of the worst and most useless. But for whatever reason, the Hindi doesn't go for the torpedoes. He tries to slow up and just, I think, DPM Lovesock behind the island there, and Pitbull makes him pay from 20 kilometers away. And that's just what a Yami can do. And that leaves 1 ship, and we're running away with points now too. We're up over 100 from being down as far as we were. And some shells through the bow from Pitbull. Not a lot left here. Lovesock putting some hurt in as well. And I mean, we congratulate. Pitbull says, "What a comeback! Like, good game, guys." There's some back and forth here. They do actually contact us after the game and congratulate us on that.